All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're cracking open the latest Project Velocity report from the Cloud Native Computing Foundation. We're going to find out which open source technologies are really leading the pack, who's winning the race in this massive ecosystem.
And really, this is the question on everyone's mind, right? In this crazy, fast-moving world of cloud tech with new tools popping up what feels like every single day, which ones are actually winning? Which tools are the ones developers are flocking to? Well, this deep dive is going to give you the answer, and it's all backed by data.
So here's the game plan. First, we'll look at the report itself. Then, we'll get into what Project Velocity even means, how they measure this stuff. After that, we'll meet the titans of the cloud, spot some key trends you need to watch, and wrap up with the massive AI infrastructure wave that's changing everything.
Okay, so our main source here is the mid-2025 CNCF report, and you should really think of this as the pulse of the industry. It's a snapshot of momentum, tracking all the real-world activity and developer love for the open source projects that are, building the digital world we all live and work in. But before we start crowning any winners, we gotta understand the scoreboard, right? I mean, how exactly does the CNCF measure a project's momentum? Because it's definitely not just about who's making the most noise on social media. So it all comes down to this key concept, project velocity. And listen, this isn't just about speed. It's way more than that. Think of it as a complete health check for a project. It tracks everything: code commits, pull requests, bug reports, and maybe most importantly, the number of unique people contributing. It's a direct measure of a community's energy and passion. And this is how you read the charts they use. It's actually pretty cool. So when you look at these bubble charts, just remember this. The x-axis, that's your code commits. The y-axis, that's all about community interaction, so pull requests and issues. And the size of the bubble, that's the big one. It tells you how many different authors are involved. So a huge bubble way up in the top right corner, that means a project is absolutely on fire.
All right, now that we know how to read the map, let's go find the giants. And according to the data, there are two clear leaders who are just continuing to dominate the entire cloud-native landscape. So first up, and this will surprise absolutely no one, is Kubernetes. It's still got the largest contributor base out there, which really speaks to its maturity. It's the foundation of pretty much everything. But hot on its heels is OpenTelemetry. This project has the second highest velocity, and its community, it just keeps growing and growing. And this quote from the report just nails it perfectly. It says, OpenTelemetry has become the Kubernetes of the O11 world. Now, if you're not familiar, O11, that's just geek speak for observability. So what they're saying is what Kubernetes did for organizing containers, OpenTelemetry is now doing for understanding our incredibly complex systems. It's become the new gold standard. Okay, so we've talked about the titans, but beyond them, where's the new energy coming from? This is where things get really, really interesting. We're seeing a whole new class of projects picking up some serious steam. And they're not trying to replace Kubernetes, not at all. They're focused on solving the next big set of challenges that have popped up. The report points to three massive trends. First, there's a huge focus on developer experience, with Backstage really leading that charge. Second, the unstoppable rise of GitOps, for declarative infrastructure, with big names like Argo and Flux. And third, the supercritical challenge of multi-cloud management. For now, we're going to zero in on that first and third trend, because that's where two projects are just showing some explosive growth. Let's kick things off with developer experience. As our systems get more and more complex, a developer's day-to-day can become, a total nightmare, just a mess of different tools and dashboards. Backstage is the answer to that chaos. It lets companies build their own unified portal, what the industry calls an internal developer platform, or IDP, to tame all of it. Its popularity is just skyrocketing, and that proves that companies are finally realizing a smooth developer workflow is a massive competitive advantage.
Okay, now for that third trend, multi-cloud. And just look at this number. Crossplane's contributor base grew by over 20% in the last year alone. That is absolutely explosive growth, and it points directly to a huge pain point in the industry. Companies do not want to be locked into a single cloud provider. Crossplane tackles this head-on. It gives you a single open-source control plane to manage your infrastructure across AWS, Google Cloud, Azure, you name it. This kind of growth tells you there's a massive demand for cloud independence. And of course, you can't look at the tech world in 2025 and not talk about the biggest wave of all, artificial intelligence. The report makes one thing crystal clear. The cloud-native ecosystem isn't just sitting on the sidelines watching the AI revolution. Nope, it's actively powering it. And the proof is right there in the numbers. For the very first time, a project called Kubeflow has officially broken into the top 30. So what is it? Well, in a nutshell, it's the toolkit for running machine learning and AI workloads on Kubernetes. It handles all the complex plumbing underneath, so data scientists can actually focus on building models, not wrestling with infrastructure. Its arrival in the top 30 is a huge, blinking sign that the future of AI is being built on a cloud-native foundation.
So, if you take one thing away from all this data, let it be this. The two most powerful forces in technology today, cloud-native infrastructure and artificial intelligence, they're not just coexisting, they are rapidly merging into one. This isn't some future trend. It's happening right now, as we speak. And that leaves us with one heck of a fascinating question. As these two worlds collide and combine, what will the next breakout project even look like? What's going to be the next OpenTelemetry or Crossplane? That right there is the billion-dollar question for the rest of 2025 and beyond.